Hello. It's me again. Hello. I'm here. Welcome back. It is the Tuesday, which means it's more streaming time. I may or may not have been scrambling at right before the end, or right before the start of stream to get things done. Definitely not. Totally. Anyway, welcome. Today, pretty simple what we're doing today. Does it say in the title? Yes, it does say in the title. Yep. Yeah, we're probably not going to try and perfect any levels in ULTRAKILL today, but we will at the very least try to improve the scores that we already have, because that'll be a good start, because it means that we know what we're doing if we can get the score higher, and eventually that will lead into perfect scores. It's just a matter of doing it enough. But yeah. Haven't really got much else to talk about beyond that. Yeah. I am a little tired still. Which is probably the reason why I took a little bit to get ready. Was totally not scrambling to get things ready today. Don't worry about it. Anyway, Let me drink some more tea to wake myself up. Also, it is really hot today. It was pretty hot yesterday, but like it's also really hot today. Probably just because it's been hot for a while now, so it just feels hotter than it actually is. But yeah, like apparently, from what I've heard, it's gonna get even hotter soon, and like it's still winter, which is concerning. Very concerning, in fact. But yeah. Let us go to game. Yeah. Whoop. Oh, excuse me. Okay, cool. Showing. Let's be able to look at last time. Got everything perfect here. We fought the secret boss and whatnot. This as well. Oh, excuse me. Oh, food is not sitting particularly well. What is this? There you go. Well, there it is. It's a D rank, but that's okay. So it took me 46 minutes. I'm sure now that I have, like, I get the idea behind it, I could probably do it significantly quicker, especially the second half. But I'm pretty sure this one doesn't even exist yet. It's just this one. So yeah, like, I literally can't do any of these. So somebody is slamming doors. So I do apologize for that. Right. I feel like of all the levels I could probably perfect today, I feel like the Leviathan's probably the easiest one. I just need to figure out how to do the challenge, which is to reach service under 10 seconds. Because if I can do that, that cuts off a cuts down a bunch of time. But we will try and go through it just like each one at a time. Activating enemies. Kill the interactionist in 10 seconds. About torch. Boss key in 10 seconds. And of course, the submissions. I feel like we can also probably do the same for this one. It's just a matter of getting there quickly and then, you know, actually fighting him and not dying. It's a little bit more difficult than the previous one, so... Anyway. So yeah, I'm not trying to go P rank today, just... Where's that backlist weapon? Oops. God, I keep going too far. There we go. There we go. Ouch. Almost. Oops. Oh, there's another one. Hold on. Ah, damn. Should have moved to the side there. I think we only got one rank higher than last time. Man, they weren't lying. That person wasn't lying about the style points for Act 2 being, like, absurd, because that's a lot of points that would have gotten me, like, an A in, like, the previous act, but... No, never mind. We've gotten way better than that. Try this one, then. I want to get this one to at least B. That is the goal. And we not have lost him for a second. That was scarily close. I don't know why I always do this one first. Apparently we're still on AEST, but I highly doubt it's going to last very long. Jump ready. Really want to use that, but probably going to die very soon now. I should have tried to catch that. I know that it's getting rusty here, but because I haven't played since yesterday, but still. How did you end up over there? way too early. How does it over there go? There we go. Damn, that was even worse than last time. I gotta redo that. That one was terrible. These guys will take care of themselves. One rail cannon and 3 rockets. Yeah, nice. I'm gonna do this first and see if that makes any difference. I doubt it will, but... Not the right side. My bad. Just instinct to do that. That's what I have to go back every time. Now we gotta deal with this. supersonic projectiles. Oddly difficult. Can actually do that. Okay, that's cool. That would save a lot of time if I knew that before. Ow. I'm struggling so hard. It's really not that difficult. See. Yeah, I did even worse this time. This time round. I think that's what I had last time. I'd see already. Yeah. Man, these levels just... Good lord. Now, I'm gonna try the Leviathan thing. I want to see if there's actually a way to get surface under 10 seconds. I just want to see if there's a path anywhere. I'll go down there because then that just kills you. Gotta be another way. Definitely something around here. Lets you just go all the way to the surface. Gotta be around here somewhere. Maybe a bit further along, even. Not obvious where it might be. So, yeah. Maybe something around this. Something here that gets you to the surface super quickly. I Apparently if you go too far to the sides, you just get sent back with, like, no damage. You can't die full damage either. Interesting. No matter how much you try. Okay. Where would this under 10 seconds thing be? Unless you're supposed to just do it like this the entire time. Which doesn't really make a lot of sense. Even like this. It still takes you a decent chunk of time. Punch was like either just before or just after. So if I didn't die the first time, I feel like I'd be fine by now. But alas. I mean, I think that's better than last time, so that's a better score at least. Like, there's got to be some kind of shortcut. So. So no way you can just get there in 10 seconds. No. Missed. Boom, done. Easy. Right. Well, there we go. We had our first Act 2 P rank. That does nothing for the overall score of Act 2, but at least it's done. It's surprisingly easy. Ironically, the boss ones are probably the easiest ones to P rank, just because they usually get you to the boss pretty quickly. Oh, excuse me. It's just a matter of actually, like, then defeating the boss quickly enough. I'll give this one a try. I know there's like a shortcut right here.
All gone, with gluttony soon to follow. Your kind know nothing but hunger, urged all life on the upper layers, and yet they remain unsatiated.
Apparently I managed to...
Show me what you were made for. I'll show you divine justice! You're getting rusty, machine! Is that the best you've got? I've never had a fight like this before!
Damn. Even that is still technically not enough. And also I didn't really style much either. We can do that. It's easy. It's possible. I think we had C before, now we're up to B.
Lust, all gone, with gluttony soon to follow. Your kind know nothing but hunger, purged all life on the upper layers, and yet they remain. You're getting rusty, machine!
Damn, literally just the styling and dying. But if we can manage to do that even faster, good. I mean, the style is the main thing we need to worry about. I can manage it. Oh, I can just... I don't need to double jump though.
Blood soon to follow. Your kind know nothing but hunger, purged all life on the upper layers, and yet they I'll show you divine justice! What is this feeling?
Oh, not gonna do right now.
Nothing but ground! Never had a fight like this before. May your woes and your days.
Style of a bitch. I think A is gonna be the best we can do for now. Hey, it's actually up to B now at least, so... like the overall score. That's good, that's good. Hmm. Right. No, I don't want to do this game. I was like, maybe I should get some of these a little higher scores before anything new comes out, but like, no, I really don't want to. Oh, excuse me. Not right now. Honestly, I'm to... Oh look, they're all B at least, that's probably why it says that. Well, yes, I am having some fun with this, I will admit. I think I'm playing this a little too much, and I'm burning myself out on it too quickly. Because, like, with Mass Effect, that one, it was really hard to burn out on because it was just constantly changing, but having the same stuff happen over and over and over again, it's a little it makes it a little bit more difficult to continuously play. No, I'm not going to be ending stream. That much I would like to make obvious and clear right now. However, I do feel like playing something else. I don't feel like starting anything new today, but I do feel like playing a different game right now. The question is what? So I was having that question last night, actually. I had no idea what game I actually wanted to play. Looking through my Steam library, there's all sorts of games here. But for which one I actually want to play, it's a different thing altogether. I can probably do more of the cyber grind just for now. Well, I think. Is this... Still... What's... Waves 5, cool. Doesn't have... Does. Yes, but it's still... 3 that I have yet to actually spot. Weirdly enough. Might as well read this. Flesh Prison is an uncategorized organism created by the angels to imprison Minos' soul after he was slain by Gabriel. Although it is similar to husks, it does not possess a soul or any amount of thought. All of its actions are purely predetermined reactions to stimulus, making it more of an organic machine than a living being. In order to make it as impenetrable as possible, it was given both divine power and hell energy, which makes its attacks erratic and chaotic. Strategy. Flesh Prison will use its spawn to heal its own wounds. The more spawn are left, the more likely it is for the Flesh Prison to attempt to heal its wounds, so it's advisable to avoid damaging it until the spawn are dead. A long window of delay split shot timing makes for a great way to clear out multiple spawn at once. Throwing multiple coins into the air, high into the air, and waiting for them to reach the delayed split shot state before shooting them is a strong opening move after Flesh Prison creates its spawn. Interesting. And then Minos Prime, so these, if I look, it shows me. So they are the same. The corpse of King Minos, okay. Once the great and beloved king of the Lost Layer, Minos, has now been reduced to a shambling corpse. Due to his incredible power of will and status as a just ruler in life, remembered even millennia after his death, the manifestation of his soul is the largest husk to ever have been recorded. Small traces of the original soul can still be detected in the body, but the corpse itself is animated and controlled entirely by the snake-like parasites that he once commanded. Despite once bringing upon the renaissance of the Lost Layer, his corpse now only seeks sinners to punish. Right, we don't need to worry about that. And then we have Minos Prime, which I believe is actually a soul. A Prime Soul is an incredibly rare occurrence in which a soul amasses so much power that it no longer requires a husk as a vessel to manifest physically. As manifestations of pure will, Prime Souls are incredibly powerful to the point that even the prideful angels see them as a threat and will use any means necessary to stop them from forming. King Minos felt that eternal suffering was an unfair and unreasonable punishment for those who only sin was loving another. After the disappearance of God, as angels were lost and heaven was in chaos, Minos began his efforts to reform the lust layer. The lust renaissance was prosperous as King Minos guided its inhabitants to come together and build a new civilization. The combined efforts of the countless who had been damned to the second layer bore great results as the grand city of lust grew and grew. However, after the council took control of heaven and brought stability to it through their Iron Fist rule, they saw that Minos had gone against God's will by freeing sinners from the punishment that God had designed for them. Gabriel, the brightest of the angels, was sent to kill Minos. The king, rather than fight back, tried to reason with him, but Gabriel mercilessly struck him down without listening. As Minos' will was strong enough to attempt to stand up to heaven's rule, the angels chose to imprison his soul in an attempt to stop it from falling into a prime soul and appointed Gabriel as the new judge of hell. From the prison inside his own body, Minos helplessly watched as his soulless corpse, now controlled by parasites, tore apart everything he had worked so hard to build, cursing his own weakness for failing to protect his people, vowing to take revenge. It's rare for Minos Prime to give a window of opportunity to heal, so it's vital to learn what attacks leave him momentarily vulnerable and how to dodge them in a way that gives an advantageous position during those moments. Oh, excuse me. His snake-like projectiles can be parried using the feedbacker for a full heal, even if the projectile doesn't hit Minos Prime. Excuse me. Fair enough. That's cool. It's not just like, oh, here's his body and like his soul is like on somewhere. Nope, here's his soul and in man can he throw hands. Why his corpse ended up getting so goddamn big? I mean, it said, what is it? Incredible power and will. Incredible power of will and status is just rule in life. Okay. That's why. What's this again? Oh, yeah. I don't know if his head's backwards or if he's just blind. Could be both. Which does make a lot of sense, but trust me, to some degree it does. So, from what I'm understanding lore-wise, basically, you know, universe was made, God made it and whatnot, all that sort of stuff. But then he kind of just disappeared for some reason. And then, you know, heaven was going into absolute chaos as a result. But then, you know, as that was happening, Minos was like, what if I just did the good thing? And made things not unfair for the people in hell. Especially when their crime was not even that bad overall. So he did that, and then the council was formed, took over, and sort of brought stability to heaven. And then they killed Minos, or they got Gabriel to kill Minos, and trapped his soul in the flesh prison. And then at some point, at least from what little I understand, there was some kind of other rebellion in hell that happened. Because that's what these are for. The insurrectionist. King Sisyphus. Okay, so yeah, they tried to, I guess, overthrow heaven's control, so that, you know, people could be free from eternal torment. I think there's a lot of law that would probably help a lot to read. But but like obviously that failed. I can assume that Gabriel, however you want to pronounce it. He probably stopped that as well. And then, at least from what I can understand, what's it called? Humanity somehow managed to get into hell for whatever reason. We can probably assume it's something similar to what happens in Doom, going to hell for the resources. And then of course they've made machines and such, probably to combat everything that is in hell. And then I think maybe some kind of war broke out between hell and humanity. And then the machines kind of, you know, I guess, I wouldn't say really rose up, but more of like broke free of humanity's control and just kind of attacked everyone. That's my understanding of it at least. Gabriel does mention that, like, your kind, so I would assume that means machine kind, wiped out all life on the surface, which I assume would mean, like, on Earth, and also the upper layers. Which is interesting. And also, like, at the very start of the game, we see Sword Machine killing a bunch of, like, husks and stuff. So, there's that. And then, of course, we fight a bunch of them later on, but... let's see, Sword Machine. Its original form is unrecognizable after years of scavenging scrap and rebuilding itself, but among scrap heads, the Sword Machine is quite famous due to its combat prowess and self-made form. Ugly to most, but beautiful to enthusiasts, spawning many copycats. Okay, so there was a Sword Machine, and then everyone that we fight afterwards is just simply a copycat. They're like not the original one. They're just ones that are trying to be like it. It wields a self-made sword with a motor on it that, when reeved, will heat the blade, cutting through most organic matter with ease. Due to its possessive hoarding behavior, it's one of the few machines still capable of vocalization, an ability most have discarded for more efficient resource management. I should probably read like up on all the machines to see if I can get a better idea of the lore, because this thing, from what I remember reading, they were made by humans, like towards the end of the war, and they helped end the war, but then, you know, because they're like half solar powered, and the sun got blotted out, they kind of stopped working. Drone, a mass-produced security device built as both a surveillance camera and a security guard. They were originally built to only use non-lethal ammunition. They have scavenged parts from the defunct machines on the surface for greater efficiency at blood collecting. Furious by nature, but to keep production costs low, their intelligence is very limited. Street cleaner. Originally built as a way to purify the tainted air of cities after the climate catastrophe, street cleaners were made obsolete during the new peace, and were repurposed as scouts for hell expeditions. However, their urge to clean remained, and after the fall of mankind, so yeah, humanity is all gone at this point, they began burning any organic matter they came across in an effort to purify the world. So why they attack me is beyond. Maybe it's the blood that I'm using to keep my form. And then of course this, which is like same as V1, but apparently it's a new kind of exploding that allowed refueling through contact with blood rather than scanner. It said, use standard plating since durability was far more important during times of peace when no bloodshed was necessary. Okay, so yeah, V2 is similar to V1, but without the ability to basically heal through collecting blood. Meanwhile, which I think... No, okay, no, they're not the same. Mind Flare. Rare but extremely dangerous, the Mind Flare is a machine that has adapted and mastered the use of hell energy alongside its own technological prowess. The machine itself is only the top part of its apparent body, the rest of which is a plastic shell in the form of a human, which they seem to have built themselves. The plastic body serves no function and is only for aesthetic purposes. Despite it being a waste of resources, Mind Flayers will use everything in its power to protect the plastic body from harm, even if that means destroying itself in the process. So that's why they explode. Mind Flayers seem to prefer a female form, though very rare occasions of male forms have also been recorded. When encountering a Mind Flayer, it's imperative to keep track of their actions either through visuals or audio. Due to their homing projectiles being fired in a burst, a safe explosive, such as a knuckle bust or blast wave, is the most efficient in deflecting them. Instant teleportation can make consistent potential damage. Yeah, I remember reading that. No possibly too. These things. Sentry. One of the many war machines created during the final war. Although there were attempts to find new purpose for them during the new peace, their streamlined design made them unable to be repurposed until the start of the Hell expeditions. Okay, so there's a war, and then peace, and then humanity, began to look through, like, expeditions through Hell. So I think I got those two things around the wrong way. Now, their extremely powerful legs and feet allow them to dig into the ground, making them immovable by most forces and allowing them to easily line up for any shot without interruption. Despite their size, they were built to be extremely light, which, when combined with the power of their legs, allows them to move at extremely fast speeds. Such power and lightness have made their legs one of the most sought-after parts by scrapheads. Fair enough. Most machines will only render a simplified approximation of their visual surroundings for faster processing speed. But sentries use full renders instead, giving them perfect accuracy even over extremely long distances. So that's why the game looks like so low poly. Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. So it's not just like, oh, it's like cool aesthetics, that it's like, oh, cool aesthetic choice to make it look low poly and whatnot. That's literally just how their processing works. That's how they see the world, for the sake of, like, increased processing power. Or fast processing speed. That actually makes a lot of sense. That's hilarious. Okay, these things. Gutterman. Built in the early days of the final war, the Guttermen were one of the first successful experiments in using blood as a fuel source. Excuse me. As well as the first automatons to be deployed in wide-scale conflict. During the war's first phase, an era of trench warfare, these seemingly unstoppable walls were airdropped into enemy trenches, which they would then slowly and systematically clear out, as all opposing soldiers would have to choose between being minced by the gunman or running out of the trench and getting mowed down by machine gun fire. Researchers had not yet found a way to keep the blood inside a machine fresh, so a live fuel source was strapped inside, kept alive by minimal life support. Oh. Before the gunmen were welded shut. Although publicly these fuel sources were claimed to be volunteer patriots, most were deserters, battle-fatigued returnees, or prisoners of war. Forces from far beyond took notice of the cruelty man was capable of, and the suffering of these humans' blood supplies served as an inspiration for the creation of the mannequins. Interesting, so we'll read up on that then. Through the departure of the angels after the disappearance of God, many sinners attempted to escape the violent slayer, braving the labyrinth that lay at its edges, thinking they could find a way out in the absence of heaven's wards. The fools who attempted would realize far too late that angels were not all that kept them from freedom, as the Garden of Forking Paths is no ordinary labyrinth, but one of malicious intent overseen with cunning cruelty. The halls, each similar enough to give no sense of direction, but just different enough to grant no familiarity, would eventually exhaust each escapee, and as they fell into a deep sleep, their metamorphosis began. Each sinner was torn apart joint by joint, their broken and shattered limbs shoved into hollow statues, startling them to life as the flesh and blood of mannequins. The gift of death is a rare privilege in hell, so the sinners who attempted to control their fate now lay dormant in eternal agony, unable to control even their own bodies, which now continue to carry on the same punishment to other unfortunate fools. Interesting. But no mention of the gunmen. Interesting. Got a tank. As gunmen single-handedly ended the trench warfare era of the final war, armies scrambled to create countermeasures, leading to the creation of more war machines. Built from the foundations of Guttermen to save time, gutter tanks were equipped with highly efficient explosives and arms capable of damaging and destroying thick armor. The slow lumbering walls that once dominated the battlefield now became obsolete. As human soldiers had quickly become useless in war, utterly outclassed by machines, they were almost entirely phased out. This led to the second era of the final war. Machines fought machines back and forth, tied as new designs were phased in and out at a feverish pace, each designed specifically to counter the last. Although at first the soldiers celebrated returning home, they soon found that the pointless, endless arms race left little in its wake. All resources were used on machines of war, and the impoverished civilians had to struggle to survive. Home was just another battlefield, a war of all against all. Conquest leads to war, war leads to famine, famine leads to actual death. And then we already read this, so yeah. I just want to read all of the lore, honestly. Just take a break from the game, but without, like, leaving the game. Husks are physically manifestations of the souls of the damned. The physical form is based on the value of the original soul, which is determined by the strength of its will and its prevalence in public consciousness, the living souls that remember it. Built with the lowest form of husk, whose souls were too weak and unimportant to even form a complete physical body. Even among husks, they have the lowest intelligence driven purely by hunger. Stray. While their tall stature may seem intimidating, strays are afraid of most danger and will try to stay at a safe distance, only attacking via projectiles formed with hell energy. Although controlling and manifesting this energy is a complicated task, strays have very low intelligence and are only able to do so via pure instinct. Nevertheless, humans were unable to replicate this level of accuracy and control, particularly the stray's ability to cause the energy orbs to selectively ignore other husks. Schism. The result of two souls attempting to manifest in the same space, causing an amalgamation of two physical bodies. Due to the doubled body mass, they're quite resilient to damage, but have very poor motor control and thus cannot aim with any degree of accuracy, resorting to barrages of energy orbs in the general direction of their opponent. Explains very weird design. That's right, they don't have any extra legs though. Soldiers are augmented versions of strays whose technological implants have been scavenged from broken machines to channel hell energy with greater efficiency. The increase in power gives soldiers more self-confidence, causing them to act more aggressively than normal strays. Despite the enhancements, their intelligence remains low and it has yet to be determined who or what actually augmented them. I mean, yeah, they do actually look like... They do look a little different from strays, like slightly, but you can see like the most similarities. And of course we have that. These things now. As the Greed Layer's punishment, stalkers have been forced to carry heavy boulders up the monuments of mankind's greed for all of eternity. Now, they've carried out their punishment for so long that their bodies have evolved, warped, and grown to better suit it. Their limbs have twisted to give them better balance while carrying boulders on their backs, and their skin and muscles have completely dried up, allowing them to survive direct contact with the dunes of gold dust that Greed's sun has raised to unfathomably high temperatures. However, an unidentified sentient force has replaced the boulders they would normally carry with high-tech bombs that, upon detonation, will transform any nearby blood into the gold dust sand that covers the layer's surface. Research has shown the technology to be very similar to the augmentations of the modified strays known as soldiers, but it's likely both modifications come from the same source. Interesting. So there is something or someone down here in hell who is doing this, who's making these augmentations. I feel like I've read this one. I'll read it again. Sisyphean insurrectionists were an army of husks gathered and trained by King Sisyphus for overthrowing heaven's control of hell, freeing the sinners from their eternal torment. During an era of chaos in heaven, as the angelic watched what's absent, Sisyphus began setting his plan in motion, as his forces recruited all husks that were intelligent enough to be useful to their cause, and began attacking demons that wandered the dunes of greed. Upon the establishment of the council and subsequent return of peace to heaven, Gabriel and an army of angels were sent down to crush the insurrectionists and subjugate Sisyphus's army. Although their battle was well fought, the inexperienced insurrectionists could not match the educated strategy of the angels, who quickly descended upon King Sisyphus with great force, eventually overpowering and killing him, leaving insurrectionists without a chain of command. Oh, excuse me. I'm just now realizing something, actually. Hold on. Okay, I'll mention it later. Because I just realized this. Wow. Because it must just... Okay, I mean, I kind of saw that, but, like... That's cool. Less scattered and disoriented, the warriors were easily picked off one by one, their bodies cut apart, leaving behind only the bare essentials required to carry on their eternal punishment of hauling heavy boulders up the monuments of mankind's arrogance and greed. Although the blood of their enemies still stains their bodies and their grasp still clutches their fallen foes, their will and fierce fury only serve as mental torment in knowing how close they were to freedom. Excuse me. The thing I wanted to mention was, basically lately I've been playing. Well, I've picked back up what's we call it, Pokemon Infinite Fusions again. Now I know it sounds kind of off topic, but hear me out. And I've been playing it on a randomizer thing, just to keep things interesting while I play. And if you manage to get a fusion between Hitmonlee and Dusknoir, you get something called Dusklee, which I'm now realizing is probably a reference to this, because the design is incredibly similar. To this point where it's like got one long arm with a holding a boulder of some kind, and it's like missing half of its body. Which is interesting. Also funny now that I'm realizing. The Ferrymen. Ferrymen are rare husks whose powerful bodies, trained skills, and blind faith have granted them the chance of becoming the transporters of souls between the hell layers, or the layers of hell. They have each been given a holy cloth by heaven as a symbol of their devotion to God's order, which they wear over their bodies to hide the human form that they've grown to despise, as a reminder of their sins in life, stopping them from becoming angels. To the extent that they have torn off their own skin and flesh, leaving behind only bones. Interesting. Due to the holy power emanating from the cloth, ferrymen's skeletal bodies have slowly become colored bright and radiant, and their skulls have enough latent energy to open gates that otherwise stop husks from exiting their places of torment. Each ferry can only have one ferryman at a time, so when a new ferryman is formed, they will fight another to the death in order to take their place and inherit their cloth. The loser's skull is taken as a trophy and used to grant the winner passage across the layers in order to transport the souls of the damned to their destinations. Ferrymen will often use the knowledge from their past life to improve their ferries, growing past the need for oars, which are now used by ferrymen only as weapons. As the influx of souls has ended with the death of mankind, the ferrymen have lost their purpose and now wander around aimlessly, hoping that the angels would grant them passage into heaven, despite Gabriel being the only one who cares about their efforts. That's what asks. Machines. Now I can go through the demons. Demons are creatures born from the mass of hell. They are most easily recognizable by their hard stone-like exterior and slow movement. Demons have higher intelligence than husks, but are still capable of rational thought and communication. No demon has been able to pass the mirror test. Their studies are limited due to their hostility. Malicious faces are the most common type of demon, but are incredibly dangerous, especially in swarms, due to their mastery of the use of hell energy as a weapon. Does it actually even say here that you can use chain guns? Hold on. Due to their burst fire, they can be quite difficult to get close to, so despite the effectiveness of a point-blank shotgun shot, nails are the recommended course of action with magnets enabling combat. So yes, it does actually mention that. It says that that's the effective strategy and not that they're really weak to it. Cerberus. Although they do not resemble a mythological three-headed dog, this name was chosen due to their nature as protectors of hell. However, it's not yet known why some stay dormant despite provocation. Despite the fact that keeping an energy orb stable takes a considerable amount of focus and effort, they seem to always keep one in hand, most likely as a display of their power to scare off intruders. Hideous mass. Hideous masses are a rare occurrence when an excessive amount of hell mass is poured into a single shell, causing it to overflow and burst at the seams. Excuse me. Due to the broken seams allowing for mobility without having to bend the exterior, the stone has hardened more than the shell of most demons, making it completely impervious to all currently known attacks. Idol. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's a demon, but yeah. Although they can easily be mistaken to be of divine origin, idols were created using the same process as other demons. Unlike their larger kin, the shells were too small to contain a useful amount of hell mass, creating life but leaving it unable to move or act. The idols did not originally look divine, but were painstakingly carved to such shapes by ferrymen who collected them during travels across the layers of hell. This was done as both an act of compassion and as a tribute to angels, particularly Gabriel, whom ferrymen believed to have similarly granted them mercy. Close proximity to a ferryman's holy cloth during the long and arduous carving process caused its holy power to seep into them, allowing them to continue the chain of compassion by protecting others from physical harm. It is fortunate for them that Gabriel is the only angel of heaven's higher order to watch over hell, since if the council had found out about such beings, they would have been labeled perversions of the divine form in order to be destroyed by the ferrymen who so lovingly had granted them a chance at life. Leviathan. Unlike most demons, the Leviathan is not formed from generic hell mass, but instead from the bodies of the Sullen, a name used for those in the ocean Styx who had given up fighting for the air and instead lay at the bottom of the ocean, drowning eternally. The Sullen, in their motionlessness, were eventually fused together by the same force that created other demons, becoming the biblical Leviathan, an abomination prophesied to be at the end of the world. The heart, which houses the souls of the Sullen in endless anguish as their flesh, veins and nerves writhe and mutate, attempted to escape its body, but Gabriel struck it down with his divine spears, pinning it back onto its head, unable to move. Although the world ended, Leviathan remains trapped in the ocean Styx, growing ever longer as more of Wrath's sinners give up and sink to the bottom. Oh, you can see like the bits that stuck in too. This. Interesting. Yeah, I know we definitely read this, saying that, like, you know, it was a gift, then he didn't want it or something, and then he just chucked it in the labyrinth, and we're like, it's like, yep, that's cool. Supreme Angel. That's an angel. Okay. So there's only one type of, like, one actual angel in this, that isn't Gabriel. That's a prime soul. That is, who knows. Okay. The basis of a lesser angel's forming are quite similar to that of the husks, wherein the physical manifestation of the soul is dependent on its value, though unlike the husks, virtuousness also acts as a factor for angels. Lesser angels come from human souls, which are formed into abstract or animalistic shapes, making them distinct from the humanoid bodies of greater and supreme angels, who were created as such and are considered purer and placed higher on heaven's societal hierarchy. Due to their past lives as humans, virtues are often sent to complete tasks that greater angels deemed below them or otherwise uninteresting, such as acting as wardens in hell. Their virtues use heavenly fire to punish sinners who aren't acting out their punishment, in order to not waste Gabriel's time with minor offenses and fluctuations. Virtues are normally known to have a multitude of eyes, though for unknown reasons these eyes are hidden or removed for ones that become wardens in hell. Some have speculated this may be related to why almost all husks lack eyes, with the exception of with the only verified exception being the previous Judge of Hell, King Minos. Little is known about the specifications of angels, as heaven is exclusionary and segregated due to wanting little to no direct contact with God's human experiment. Interesting. My guess as to why the eyes were removed could simply be... actually, does it actually say? Let me read that again. Okay, they say it might be related, but I think the reason might be if they had eyes, they might see what they're doing, and there's the chance that they might feel bad for the sinners. It's not what they want. They want them to simply act out the wills that are required without any chance that they could turn. Right. That's about it. Looks like we're gonna get another arm. Now, apparently, from what I've been told, there are also alternate weapons, so like extra versions of weapons, but I have no idea where you get those. I think I've read everything, yeah. The only ones I haven't read are ones that I know I've read before. Excuse me. Oh, even they don't have eyes. I will say reading all this lore has, like, got my brain, like, Yeah. The gears and cogs are turning. Need to move something. Right. Oh, I feel a sneeze going on. Also, I do like what's it called? I do like that the way that this game portrays like the different dimensions of like heaven, earth, and hell. To basically be kind of like nobody's actually really like good. Like maybe, you know, God was actually like the only good person in this universe. And then due to stuff that was happening, bro either left or he just straight up died or was even killed. Excuse me. Because as we've seen, the council is not good, even though they did bring stability back to heaven. I guess Minos, in a way, is probably another one of the few good quote-unquote characters, just because, you know, he wanted people to, you know, live peacefully and didn't like the fact that, you know, simply loving one another was considered a bad thing. Though I guess in some cases it makes sense that, you know, that was not a good thing to do. In some cases, that is. But yeah. It's got me thinking over, like, well, actually, before that, I also like the fact that, like, you know, the demons all have, like, this, like, weird appearance to them, like, with their stone appearance and whatnot. See? It, like, in particular, like, oh, well, not this one. This one gives me a lot of Persona vibes for some reason. It usually looks like a Persona that you could use. Pretty sure there is actually something like this in the game anyway. Overcharges the way to get back. Fair enough. But yeah, it's kind of got me thinking about like how, in my own, but it's basically just gone into like basically just chatting and whatnot, or just me rambling instead of playing the game. It's got me thinking about like, my own specifically sci-fi D&D universe and how I've handled demons and such in that, because I have like two versions of D&D universe. We have the sci-fi one, that which I've mentioned a lot, but then there's also the more traditional fantasy one, which came before the sci-fi one, but I haven't really done too much with it in comparison, simply because when I made it, I'm still very inexperienced, and, well, once I got the idea to just make a space one, I kind of just left it as it was. So, like, the original one is a lot closer to how D&D actually is, with, like, you know, different planes or dimensions, as it's called. That, yeah, in the original one, it's sort of they're called dimensions, not planes. Just that, you know, I don't know, copyright reasons, not really, but just me trying to make it somewhat different. Oh, excuse me. And then in the sci-fi one, there are still dimensions. However, this is a big however, unlike the original version, that's more fantasy, the sci-fi one doesn't actually have any sort of afterlife. There is no heaven, there is no or heaven, quote unquote. There's no gods. There's no deities or anything that exist. But there are demons. Those still exist. Which I think is an interesting take on things, because like it sets up an interesting challenge, which I think I've actually managed to figure out with the help of a friend, and that is, how do clerics and paladins work? In a universe with no deities, how do they work? And we figured that out. We still need to test it, and try and make a few more examples that might actually work. But for the most part, the way that it works is actually rather simple. It's based on the like a person's faith and belief in a concept, and this could be anything. I think one example that we've got for one of my friends, that one of my friends came up with. Hold on a second. I'm just noticing that the model, this is just me going off topic and getting distracted. The chamber, the revolving chamber, on the picture of the revolver seems to be different from how it is on the actual revolver. It looks backwards. The indented parts are pointed towards the back of the gun on the picture, but they're towards the front of the gun on the actual model. Huh. Okay, there's also those little divots, but you see what I mean. Huh. Well, that's interesting. Anyway, back to what I was going on about. Basically, the idea that they came up with was basically a cleric who believes in the fact that history is basically predetermined, and no matter what you do, things will happen, but depending on what you do will change the outcome of how said thing happens. So it's like, hey, in this amount of time, this thing is going to happen, no matter what you do. And if you try to do anything different, it's only going to change the outcome of the thing that's going to happen, but that thing is still going to happen regardless. So say, in 100 years, there's going to be a big event that's going to end up with a lot of people dying. So someone will probably be like, okay, well, someone who has this belief that time is predetermined, and no matter what you do, the thing will happen, no matter what how it happens doesn't matter. The fact that it happens at all is basically belief. Now, someone who has that belief will probably be like, okay, that's just how it's going to be. Maybe we could do something to lessen how bad said thing is. Or we can kind of just accept it and prepare for it. But someone else might try to fight against it and try to completely get rid of said event. But in the process of doing so, they end up making the event significantly worse. One good example of this would be, what's it called? A major event that happens in the Cypher D&D universe is known as the Calamity Year, wherein 98%, well, not 98, 68% of the Star System's total population, not including demons, was basically just wiped out in a year. Now, due to certain events happening, this was actually the better outcome. But also still not great, obviously. It could have been worse, but it was also better. Basically, had these events not happened, the calamity still would have happened, but less than 50% of people would have died, but an entire planet would also be gone. So, yes, more people end up dying, but at least all the planets are still there. But yeah, simple stuff like that, like the simple belief in such concepts is how clerics and paladins get their power. It's having such a strong belief in something that it grants you power. That's obviously just one example, and we're still trying to figure out better ones. But yeah, that is one such case where that works. Actually, I think another example that we actually did come up with was simply just the belief in an ideology. And that could be something as simple as, not liking cyborgs, or having any kind of cybernetic augmentations, believing that, the organic form is the best, and fusing with flesh is disgusting. Something as simple as that, and there you go, you got yourself a cleric or a paladin. Although, of course, doesn't work with every belief, though. There are obviously some limitations. You can't just believe in anything and it works. For example, believing in the power of friendship. That's not going to make you into a cleric or a paladin. Stuff like that is just, it doesn't work. You can believe in it, but it's not going to make you any stronger or give you any cool powers. But yeah. Well, actually, I think it was on something else a while ago. I kind of want to backtrack a little bit, specifically towards the demon stuff. Because the way the demons are is very interesting, and I can only talk about it so much before I go into spoiler material, which I do want to get into eventually, but excuse me, for safety reasons, I will not. So I'll go over what I can. So, the thing with the demons in this universe is that despite their forms being, actual, flesh forms and such, honestly, the demons in this universe are very similar to, the husks in this. They're less humanoid. Despite their appearance, they actually are made up of pure demonic magic, which is, the magic of demons and such. Because there are different magic types, but for the most part, they all generally do the same thing. It's like, what's a good comparison? I guess a good comparison would be different types of apples. Sure, they have different appearances and whatnot, but at the end of the day, they're still apples. They're all apples, no matter what. It's the same thing with magic. Like how magic works in this. It might look different, it might feel different, but at the end of the day, it's basically just the same thing. Yeah. But yeah, they're just basically manifestations of demonic magic, just put together into a specific shape. And of course, depending on how much magic you put in, how much demonic magic you put into them, depends on how strong they are. But generally, only the bare minimum is ever put in. Like, hey, you want to make this shape? Here's how much you need for that, and you're good to go. But also, as a result, when a demon actually dies, they don't leave a corpse. Instead, their demonic magic actually loses its shape, and they sort of, what's the word? They sort of just, fizzle away, so to speak. Which is useful. However, they also still do bleed, which is another interesting thing. Although the thing is, with their blood, that also too does eventually evaporate into demonic magic. The most interesting part about it all is the fact that when the demonic magic does lose its shape and the demon's form dissipates into the demonic magic, that demonic magic always finds its way back home. No matter how long it takes or how far away it is, it will always go back to its source, which is basically where all the demons live. Which is interesting, because it also means that technically the demons have an infinite supply, because even if they send a demon out to go fight and it dies, that magic just comes back and you can simply just reform the demon again. Or just collect a bunch more of the magic, like wait for a lot of the magic to come back and make it a stronger demon. Yeah. It's all very interesting. I'm still trying to figure it out in most cases. Another thing is, obviously, like, I think the most obvious thing is that, like, when it comes to tieflings, or in the case of this universe, they are called Impapa, they too count as demons, regardless of what type they are, because there's demonkin and devilkin. They still counted as demons. But they're also counted as half-demons, and when they die, they don't dissipate like actual demons do. They obviously still leave a corpse. However, they can also have the chance of leaving behind what are essentially demon orbs, which are basically solidified demon magic in an orb shape. And this demon orb can contain all sorts of things. It could contain the memories of the person it was formed from. It could contain their powers. But it doesn't contain their soul. That's one thing that it doesn't have. The soul goes elsewhere. Where it goes, who knows? Because there's no afterlife. So they probably just wander around. Maybe after a while they kind of dissipate as well. It's unknown where exactly they go. But they do exist, though. And the interesting thing with demon orbs is that you can only use them if you have some degree of control over demon magic. So in the case of Impapa, that's kind of just second nature. They can use them like just by existing. But for anyone else, you gotta basically learn how to use that magic and contain it within yourself in a way that doesn't kill you. Because that's probably the only thing about demon magic that's different, is that unless you're made of it, it's going to ruin you if you have it. You need to be incredibly careful. Like, you can have like a safe amount of it, but you gotta be careful, because if you're not, it's going to completely warp your body, and it's not going to be great. For the most part, at least. So, you want to be careful with that stuff. But it is possible to wield, though. But generally, people who do use it, but aren't in power themselves, they usually have some kind of catalyst to store the magic in. You know, think of it like a waterbender carrying a water skin full of water. That's basically how they use it. That's how they use the demon magic. They don't store it within themselves, they store it within something else that they can then draw from to use it. And because of the properties of demon magic or demonic magic, it generally can return to that catalyst even after it's been used, to then be used again. Yeah. Though I'm pretty sure I do actually have one case in one of my campaigns where someone does, like one of the play characters does actually have a little bit of demon magic within them. But because it's such a minuscule amount, it's not going to affect them in any meaningful way. Like, yeah, maybe some things will change very slightly within them, but for the most part, it's not going to have any major effects. So, but it does allow them to use special weaponry that only activates to its fullest potential when you channel demon magic through it. So they have that now. But yeah, but that all that stuff is for like another day. So much I could talk about with it, but so much that I can't talk about for spoiler reasons. But yeah, don't even get me started on what happens if you try to channel demonic magic through like a mech or something. That's a whole different box of frogs that I'm not going to open today. Maybe another day. Anyway, I've rambled on for a good probably half hour now, so I'd say we do a bit of the same right, shall we? Please. Gotcha. I'm surprised I'm alive, honestly. Alright. trying to throw that little punch back, but oh well. Not too bad. I'll play a bit more and then see if I can think of anything else to talk about. Change the skybox a bit, actually. It's a bit dark. Oh, it's very bright. I'll manage. I should try and get one of my own images in at some point. you immediately. scared each other. I'm very surprised I survived that. Oh, hi. It's another one. Why? Oh, I somehow did not see. What further did I get that time though? 18, damn. Just not quite. Oh. Very unfortunate, but understandable. Yep. Right, how many? I have a lot of points, don't I? I can't use any of them, but man, do I have a lot. Oh, excuse me. You can actually scroll between them. It's not the greatest. You can't swap between the different local types. Oh well. Right. As much as I would like to yap about more things, I can't really think of anything else to yap. There's a lot of stuff I would love to yap about, I can't yap about for spoiler reasons. And you might be thinking, I don't even know any of your campaigns, so why would it be spoilers? It's spoilers for people who are in the campaign, and also because I kind of want to keep it a secret until, at the very least, they have, you know, experienced these things. Which should honestly probably take a little while, but not as long as I'd think. Assuming I can, you know, get off my ass and actually start doing things I need to do. Which I actually have started doing. I've got like 50% of a draft done after not drawing for like almost 2 months. Which is something. It's better than nothing. Like over the past almost 2 months. Yeah. As much as I would love to continue, I don't have the mental capacity to do so, mainly because I'm getting burnt out from this game from playing it constantly, and that's the one thing I don't want, which is burnout. So, instead, we're an ad break. Interesting. Yes, instead, we'll call it there. Another short stream again today, but then that gives me plenty of time to do other things. In particular, probably finishing that draft that I need to finish for art. Because once I get this picture done, that the draft is of, I can continue one of my D&D campaigns, which has been on hold for a little bit. And this is like literally like one of the only things that needs to be done. For the most part, at least. Oh, excuse me. There's obviously some other stuff I need to do, but in terms of art, there's only one thing I gotta do for it, so... Oh, excuse me. But yeah. Again, just a short stream today. You don't want to get burnt out on ULTRAKILL, and also ULTRAKILL just takes a lot. Like, mentally. So... But yeah. We shall call it there for now. Let's see. I see Elliot and Coffee are both playing Team Fortress 2. I assume they are playing together. I mean, I would probably join, but Australian internet and whatnot. I mean, yeah, my internet's faster now, but still. And also, I don't want to risk accidentally having something pop up on stream that would probably get me banned. So, unless they're doing like... Oh, they're doing man up stuff. Okay, that's fine. But, I'll see about another time. About playing another time. We'll see how we go. Thing is, I'm probably going to be busy on both. Actually... Okay, well, I'll have to check things, but I might be fine for Sunday. Monday, I'm not entirely sure, though. Something has popped up in a very annoying way, and I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to be able to do anything about it. If I'm going to be able to stream or not. We'll probably play ULTRAKILL again on Saturday, and maybe Sunday if we have time. Or if I'm able to stream on Sunday, and if I feel like playing ULTRAKILL. Otherwise, we'll probably start a different game. And I have a few in mind. So I have a few to select from. So I will keep that a secret until I actually figure out what I'm going to play. But let us say hello to who has less viewers. Okay, he's got less by 1. I think we rated Elliot last time anyway, so... I mean, I know we rated Hineto yesterday, but I think the last time I think before that we rated Elliot, so... yeah. Right. So... there we have it. That was some more ULTRAKILL today. I guess we did technically achieve our goal, not quite to the extent that I wanted to. We did perfect, the Leviathan boss fight though, so there's that. That's a pretty big W in my books, as the kids would say. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. So thank you very much everyone who has popped in to watch, and if you're watching this after it's been uploaded, thank you very much. Hopefully everyone has a very good day, morning, or night, whatever time it is for you. Links below for things. You know the drill, I hope. And if not, well, you know now. And I will see everyone on Saturday. Yeah. Bye-bye.